Recently, a caster by the name of Squid managed to cast a professional game of CSGO with a ridiculous voice and the worst commentary abilities you will ever hear.
4-0 would be another big potato.
He somehow got the gig without the tournament organisers ever actually hearing or seeing him beforehand, and he made it through an entire game without being pulled off air. The craziest part is he sucked on purpose. It's going to be the most strange thing you probably see today, but he actually did it for a very serious reason, one which he feels is the biggest threat to CSGO casting as we know it. Alright, I think this video is going to blow your mind, but we do have a lot of videos like that on this channel, so if you haven't done so already, make sure you are subscribed so you never miss a video like this one. If you're already subscribed, well done, you make great decisions. Alright, so picture this. You've sat down to watch a Tier 2 European CSGO tournament. It's part of a circuit with $2.7 million in prize funds. You join halfway through a best of 3 and hope that an expert caster can bring you up to speed with all of the action, and this is what you hear.
He takes a peek, and Travis is waiting. He knows, he hears. Boom! This is very big.
Yeah, that's not an audio glitch. That's not some fan cast. That is part of the official commentary for one of the games in this tournament. That is the voice of Squid, or rather his alter ego, Dom Casts, aka the worst CSGO caster in the world.
Since they're not doing a phenomenal job, I wondered how hard it would be to get onto one of these massive broadcasts. So I decided to enlist the help of a very special friend. He'll be called Domcasts.
Alright, you probably got questions. How did he manage to get on a broadcast talking like that? And perhaps more importantly, why did he do it? Well, to answer those questions, we first need to talk about the two companies that ran this tournament, Relog Media and Grid Talent. They're part of a collaboration who are set to give out a total of $2.7 million in tournament prizes between 2021 and 2022. Each of these CSGO tournaments has prize pools of hundreds of thousands of dollars. With such fat stacks being thrown around, you'd expect a certain level of quality from these companies, both in their production and in the way they treat their talent. But I interviewed Squid, and according to him, that just wasn't the case.
It started in January when I realized that even though their prize pools, the prize pools for their tournaments were going up by about, it was going up by 2 times, 3 times the amount that they were actually paying out last year. They were cutting the caster rates. They were bringing solo casting into their products. They weren't providing any real support. Their payment terms, like how long they would actually take to pay a commentator, I think tripled from 1 month to 3 months.
Now, Squid had casted for these guys in the past, but felt like the imbalance between the prize pools and the caster payments was kind of reaching a ridiculous level. Squid is no rookie to the scene here. He's been a commentator for over 4 years now, lending his voice to tournaments run by ESL, Star Ladder, and Blast, to name but a few. To put it simply, he knows what a well-run tournament should look like. So he wrote a letter to Relog Media in January of this year saying that he wasn't going to work with them again until these issues got fixed. He got no reply. A while later, Squid was doing an investigative piece on Kieran Cullinan, the talent manager for Grid Talent, when he and some other casters who had worked with the company received this message in a shared Discord. It read, "For anyone sharing Snow Sweet Snow payment rates outside of this group, I advise you go and read section 6.1 of the contract you all signed with us, headed Confidentiality Data Protection. Any further news I hear of this will result in immediate dismissal." For Squid, threatening to fire casters for talking about their pay rates was the final straw. He felt something had to be done. Now, Squid had been signed into Grid's Discord under the pseudonym of Dom Cass, and when he logged in, he found that he actually had access to all of their protected channels.
And these were all like locked channels that I would never be allowed into. Being like kind of like an outspoken member, somebody who speaks about rates and speaks about this sort of thing. Like I wouldn't ever be given access, but this Domcasts guy, straight access.
So this fake persona, Dom Cass, never had any interaction with anyone from Relog Media or Grid Talent, but was now taking part in conversations that Squid himself wasn't invited to. So, with the help of his friend Pronogo, Squid decided to see just how far he could take this. Would it be possible to get Dom Cass, a fictional character, to cast a professional game of CSGO for these companies? The aim was that if he pulled this off, it would help expose his theory about just how little these companies care about their production or talent. Well, Squid reached out as Dom Cass to see if he could cast the FunSpark Ulti 2021 qualifier tournament for Relog Media, and amazingly, he got the job. He was now going to cast one best of 3 series for them as a completely fictional character. I cannot stress enough just how absolutely batshit insane this whole thing is. This job involves 2 things: being seen and being heard. Squid had somehow managed to get Dom Cass the gig without them ever hearing him or seeing him beforehand. In fact, the only thing they'd ever seen of him was this Discord picture, which doesn't exactly ooze professionalism. I mean, just look at it. With the gig secured, Squid spent the next few weeks preparing. He was going to be on camera for this, so he needed a disguise. If they recognized who he really was, they would undoubtedly just pull him straight off air. Now, some people might just slap on a fake mustache and call it a day, but Squid fully committed to this. He decided Dom Cass was going to be a bald Lithuanian loudmouth who sounded vaguely like Kermit the Frog. In Squid's video on all of this, he shows himself working with a vocal coach and a Lithuanian caster to try and learn some convincing phrases to use on the day.
Going to the dwarves, going to the toilet, basically same thing. Something exciting, something amazing is when your eyeballs pop out of your forehead. Roof drives away. It's when things are crazy.
As for the appearance, Squid spent 3 hours in a makeup chair to transform himself into Dom Cass and finished off the outfit with a baggy suit and an oversized lumberjack jacket, which actually used to belong to his great granddad. When the big day came, Squid told me he actually felt pretty nervous.
So I had spent 2 months editing this video and making the scenes and writing it and everything. If I got yanked off 5 minutes into the broadcast, there is no video. There's nothing. The project's done. I look like an idiot instead of somebody who pulled this off. Basically, the difference between being an idiot and coming up with a really smart idea is so thin in this field, where if it goes wrong, I just look like a fucking, I look mental.
The nerves were definitely kicking in, but Dom Cass had his bald cap, he had his jacket, and he had his Lithuanian phrases. It was showtime. What you're about to see is the first time anyone from the outside world had ever seen or heard Dom Cass, including the people that hired him.
Hello and welcome to the Fun Sparks, everybody's. We have very exciting game today with 1 win and 100 ping gods.
He'd made it past the first hurdle, with no one from Relog Media pulling the plug. As he got into the game, he turned things up a notch by putting on perhaps the worst casting performance you will ever hear in your life.
It's not there anymore. Not there at all. Not there one bit. Not there to take the hit. They play. This is a very messy game.
It was beautifully insane. Squid told me that the hardest part of all of this was that after casting for 4 years professionally, he had to relearn how to be a bad caster.
We did some practice sessions before we got into this, and during the practice sessions, basically all of the feedback was, this guy's too good. He knows too much about the game. He's reacting too quickly to the kills. Basically, what you need to do is just look at the kill feed at the top right and just read that. Pretend that nothing's happening in the game. And that was the advice that was given to me. So that's what I did, because that's what the world's newest caster probably would do.
And that's exactly what he did. He just started listing the names of players one by one. Suddenly, it all clicked into place.
And Deco, and the Scout, and Sorrow, and Smiley, and Deco, and Sorrow.
Let's look at one last clip because Why not? I love them. And I want you guys to remember that this is being streamed to thousands of people who don't know what's going on.
And maybe an ace? Is it an ace to finish? No. Pult steals it. Boom!
Other than a couple of audio issues, nobody from Relog Media had any problem with Domcast's ridiculous performance. It was a long best of 3, and at times Squid did struggle to keep the ridiculous voice of Domcast going. I mean, you tried talking like Kermit the Frog for 3 hours, but eventually he got over the finish line.
So, we had 4 best of 3 today. We have more best of 3 next week. We will see you next time.
Naturally, it was now time for Domcast to get paid for all his hard work.
They paid after about 45 minutes of the video being live, which was basically, I saw that as the best middle finger ever. It was funny, it was classy, but obviously, their casters usually wait 3 months to get paid after the events, so it's also ironic in that sense that I got paid immediately. It's okay, right? Let's get this guy out of our hair. Let's not give him something else to fight back with, because the original concept was to make a follow-up video, try to get Dom paid. We can't make that anymore.
And how much did he get paid for this gig? I hear you ask. About 50 euros or $60 US. And in Squid's video, he points out that this is kind of peanuts compared to the money that's involved with this kind of production.
Grid Esports CSGO Circuit prize pool in 2021 looks like this. That is $2.7 million, whereas the average Grid Esports caster paycheck looks like this. It's a pathetic 20 euros.
Squid was pleased to see a lot of support coming from the community. The buzz on social media was overwhelmingly positive. Sadly, the Relog representative he was in contact with didn't quite agree with that feedback and shut down any notion of Domcast making a return to the tournament anytime soon. When the mask and costume finally came off, which looked like something out of a horror movie, Squid hoped that those who found his stunt funny also took away his stark warning about the state of CSGO casting.
I feel like we've got a lot of organizations in esports right now who do not care about integrity whatsoever. A commentator is supposed to be the face of your brand, the face of your product, and if you don't care about who that person is and whether they have integrity themselves, then how does that reflect badly on your product?
For Squid, this whole thing is a bit of a trickle-down situation. He believes that if these companies don't have integrity with their production and pay their casters fairly and promptly, then the whole system can start to erode from the top down. He believes that if casters lose their own integrity and belief as a result, then they're not able to do their job properly and engage with the viewers with fresh content and captivating storylines. So, what's the solution here? Well, that may be beyond the scope of this video, but Squid had suggested that some sort of external regulation might work. A body that keeps these companies in check and holds them to certain ethical standards before the bubble bursts. The overwhelming feeling I got when talking to Squid was one of passion. He didn't just do this stunt for a laugh or retweets, he did it because he really cares about the scene and especially his fellow casters. One of the questions that a lot of people seem to have about Domcast after watching this stunt is, when is his next video? Well, although Squid hasn't confirmed the character's return just yet, he did tell me that he has other characters and similar stunts lined up in the future. So let's hope these videos continue to shine a light on the darker corners of CSGO, and in the meantime, we've still got one hell of a video to share with friends.
And with Iceman finding another one, he is ice cold. And so is Winter. They are both a cold brothers.
I'd like to see if I can get a job as a North American caster. He's going to B-side. I think he's going to be able to start the bomb. Oh, he's picked up the gun. He's picked up the AWP. He's picked up the AWP. And then people go, what? What did you say? Oh, the ARP. He picked up the ARP. I said the ARP. It's fine. Sorry. I was coughing.